Think accurately. This one is so means different things to different people, I guess. I recently had an experience where somebody was thinking different than me, and in my head I'm just shaking my head. How can this person not see what I see? And the fact is that person's probably shaking his head saying, how can Matt not see what I see? So thinking accurately is subjective, I guess. It depends on your angle and your perception. But to think accurately, I think there needs to be an awareness that we all have an angle, we all have a perception, and that is a big step to thinking accurately. Control your attention. If you have got uncontrolled attention, then you have no focus and you'll not accomplish very much. Inspire teamwork. That might be a tough one if you don't have your mastermind together, but when your mastermind's together and you got all the other principles in place, you've developed your definiteness of purpose, and you've got applied faith, and you're working towards it, you're taking steps with your personal initiative, you can inspire teamwork with your mastermind. You can inspire teamwork without your mastermind. You can inspire teamwork anywhere you go, but in general, for this purpose, inspire teamwork for your mastermind. Learn from adversity and defeat. We all have adversity, we all have defeat, and it's in the way that we deal with these adversities and defeats. What is the best way to deal with them? I really don't know, but I do know that if we keep a positive mental attitude and we believe that all things are for our good, it can go a long way in changing our personal thought process, and then we can have that adversity and defeat and take a step back and learn from it. We can cultivate creative vision. Creative vision happens, I think, in the imagination mostly, and we can cultivate your imagination. Maintain sound health. That's pretty self-explanatory. Budget your time and money. How important is that? Money's important, but have you thought about your time? Budgeting your time? It's really important. Use cosmic habit force. Ooh, cosmic habit force. What's that? I really will wait until we get into that chapter to discuss it. And then it goes on to discuss the 17 principles of success like we just discussed. Now, in the preface of this book, it's going to give us information about our good author, Napoleon. The Napoleon Hills, the title to this book, Keys to Success, should get all of our attention, particularly if we're wanting success. And the principles of this success that is in this book are not only written about, but can be explained to the reader and easily understood, and we can apply these principles in our lives, which is a big step forward, I think, from the Laws of Success original publication. We can actually take these principles and apply them in our lives. We have step by step. We have the same book in our hands that have been used in major universities for a 3-hour course, and we get to study it for free. Napoleon Hill was born in the rugged mountains of Southwest Virginia in 1883 in what Hill described as, for 3 generations, his people been born, lived, struggled, ignorance, illiteracy, and poverty, and died without having been outside the mountains of that section. They made their living from the soil. Whatever money they procured was from the sale of corn converted into moonshine. There were no railroads, telephones, electric lights, or passable public highways. Hill's mother died when he was only 9 years old, which could have added to his chances of ever being successful. But his father married a young widow who was educated. Hill described her as a blessing. His stepmother was a constant source of encouragement. She helped Napoleon obtain a typewriter, and he was writing stories at the age of 14. Like millions of other Americans born into the modest or impoverished means, Hill was destined to admire the likes of Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and many other self-made men with passion that bordered on worship. Today, a very similar situation exists where the rich and famous are treated as gods. Like millions of other Americans, Hill would be consumed with interest about people who succeed where others fail. Why, and how to structure his own life to take place among the rich and powerful. Hill would dream of meeting these giants, impressing them, and harvesting the wisdom that produced their incredible accomplishments. But unlike most of those other millions of admirers and wanderers, Napoleon Hill was destined to fulfill his dreams. Not only did Hill meet and impress America's great achievers of his day, but he would spend his entire adulthood studying and learning their secrets to success and communicating them to the world. Fate would have Napoleon meet his mentor, Andrew Carnegie, whom he set out to interview in 1908. Carnegie was 74 years old and resided in a 64-room mansion on Fifth Avenue in New York City. Hill admired him because he knew that Carnegie, a poor immigrant boy from Scotland with very little education, had started working at the age of 12. By the age of 35, Carnegie had created America's steel industry and had amassed a fortune. Not only did Carnegie personify the American dream come true, but he also left such an impression on Hill that the words of wisdom from Carnegie would become the cornerstone for Hill's philosophy of success. He would spend a lifetime developing the success principles. As a student of Hill's philosophy, which is as relevant today as when Hill was doing his studies, we can benefit from experience of others, which will save us time and help us avoid